At 7:43, it's time for Headline Makers with assistant editor of The Spectator, Cindy Yu, and political editor of HuffPost UK, Kevin Schofield. Morning to you both. Let's have a look, Cindy, at the... COVID, you keep bringing COVID up. What's going on with it? But yeah, this is the Sean Bailey party thing. We've got a clip which was what the Mirror released some time ago. But COVID fine.
Oh, that one, yeah.
Yes, exactly. This Mingle and Jingle party.
Oh, yes.
Which the police opened an investigation into earlier in the year, and they've now just decided to give 24 fixed penalty notices for that. I mean, it's pretty clear that was not within the lockdown rules or spirit of the time, so not really a massive surprise there. But I think it's just, yeah, as you say, Stephen, you know, COVID is long gone, but it's interesting that these fines continue to be made. And we also don't know if Sean Bailey, who was the Tory candidate at the time, who kind of whose office hosted this party, we don't know if he was one of the ones who's fined, and he's just going into the House of Lords now. So, again, Partygate, lots of people, very important people,
Lords,
implicated. Yeah.
Yeah. You wonder when it'll stop, actually, because there were clearly more parties than we even dreamed.
Well, it's not great for the Conservatives, is it, for this stuff to come to be dredged up again? You know, people just just gets people's.
I mean, it's blatant.
Backs up.
That's definitely a party, isn't it? You can't actually argue.
There's not a lot of social distancing going on.
Really?
No.
Yeah, I mean, I think the only saving grace is that there's just general fatigue about talking about COVID and lockdowns, and people probably just don't care about Partygate anymore as they did, you know, this time last year. So that's probably the saving grace. But I think...
Yeah, but some people were fined an awful lot of money at the beginning, weren't they?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
And those fines are still continuing as well, actually.
So actually, it's only fair that we should continue hunting these people down.
Yes, but if they're getting fixed notice and others, like some students were sort of fined...
10,000,
Yeah, that doesn't seem fair.
No,
or sitting on a bench, you know, next to a friend. Yeah.
OK, shall we move on to the plight of the teapot?
Yeah, well, we were talking about the medicinal benefits of tea earlier.
Yes.
And now it appears that the teapot is going the way of, well, things that don't exist anymore because people just don't care so much.
Just brew it in the cup.
We just, we live at such 100 mile an hour pace nowadays. It's, as you say, you get a tea bag, chuck it in a cup, pour the water on, and that's you. But people, it's not just teapots, toast racks. They've gone.
Toast rack.
Remember them?
Yeah.
People don't set the table now for breakfast, really, just because it's just you've just had
Egg cups with a little hat on.
Yeah, tea cosies, obviously, if the teapot. But also, 2 out of 3 Brits have never tried kippers. Not that surprising, maybe, but more than a third have never tried black pudding.
No, I wouldn't. I haven't tried either.
Well, no.
What? Ever?
No, well, I
life?
haven't, but...
But you're a vegetarian.
Yeah, my brother loves black pudding.
Oh, God, it's great. Yeah, I cannot believe...
That is really old-fashioned, that, surely now.
Is it really?
Yeah, I actually don't mind it at all. I
Really?
mean, being Chinese, I'm not iffy about food, you know, I just eat everything. So black pudding doesn't put me off. I'm surprised that you've never had it, though, Anne.
Never, never, never.
Oh,
Like,
wow,
just
you're
like, as
missing
part
out.
of a
You've
filling
never been
loaf.
tempted? Never been tempted?
Never tempted.
What is
tempting about it?
It's very
That's a
heavily
good
spiced,
point.
so it doesn't taste like you think it would taste.
No.
I've never got over being in Beijing, actually, talking about the Chinese eating anything. and as you walk through parts of Beijing, and there's just people, and they've got, like, scorpions and spiders on sticks.
On sticks, yeah.
That have been, I don't know what...
I'm not so into that, no.
Wow.
And people just walking about eating scorpions. It's just like... God.
But then I suppose if you show them what's in a black pudding, they might think, what,
yeah.
are you mad?
No.
Haggis
Why
as
you-
well, you know. I think
Haggis.
it's all just...
Come on now.
I'm just saying.
Haggis.
I've never seen a wild
Jelly
haggis,
eels.
like always in Scotland.
Yeah.
They're
Keep
very
looking for
secretive
haggis.
creatures.
They are.
Yeah, they only come out for 1 month of the year.
They are. Yeah, well, 1 month of
And
the
aren't
year,
they
is
silly
that
to
it?
do that?
Absolutely, and then they instantly regret it.
Can we talk about Doctor Who? Because I want to know about this. What's happened with Doctor Who's theme tune?
Yeah, so, I mean, I didn't know this because I grew up on the noughties Doctor Who, which, you know, so did Christopher Eccleston and then David Tennant. That was kind of canon for me. I know this goes on for much longer than that. But I didn't know that they refresh the theme tune every so often.
They do. Well, they do. It's almost every season.
Yeah.
It gets a bit of a revamp, and it's all gone... It went a bit skew-whiff over the last few years.
Yeah, well, they've gone back to sort of orchestral arrangement, and we were listening to it earlier, weren't we? And what we were saying was, though, it's not as spooky. You know, like that, the Doctor Who theme tune can be quite spooky.
Yeah.
Oh, no, but it's meant... I tell
This
you
is
what,
very
Evan,
upbeat.
have a listen. Now, you see, that is very what you're used to.
Yeah.
It's very much like the David Tennant style thing.
Although that still had a synth going through it back then, which was quite kind of eerie, high-pitched. You know, this is much more Anna's used to.
I think it's fabulous.
The size of that orchestra.
It's huge.
I mean, can you imagine how much it costs to actually just play that bit?
But that's probably... I don't know, but previously when it was all orchestral, it was the BBC National Orchestra of Wales that do
was it? Right. But I thought it was the BBC Radio Telephonic Workshop.
That doesn't exist anymore.
Oh,
that hasn't existed for about 20, 30 years.
No, well, that was my year.
But it's...
that looks like
I like it. I like
Abbey Road as well.
Yeah, it does. Yeah,
absolutely. Like Abbey Road.
No, I like that. I like that a lot. But it's very Russell T Davies. But then we want it to go back to what it was like.
I thought it was a bit Star Warsy.
To be honest with you, I've got to say, I've never really watched it since Tom Baker. So,
Tom Baker.
But that's giving my age away.
I've got a signed picture of Tom Baker.
He was great.
Oh, brilliant.
Yes, he was.
Let's talk about average employees. This is in the Mail, Cindy.
Yeah.
Spend a lot of time on drafting emails, but we're not reading them.
Yeah, it's quite depressing, really. So according to this study, the average employee spends almost 9 hours a week drafting emails, so that's more than a work day. But only 42% of their emails are fully read and understood by the recipient. Which, as someone who does send a lot of these emails, I find that quite depressing that more than half of what I send but not being read properly. But I would just say that this study was commissioned by Slack, the messaging platform, which, of course, wants people to move off of email and into more direct messages and more informal ways of
But do you send
chatting.
very long emails? Because we sometimes get work emails that are very long and complicated, and I sort of scan the top line.
Yeah, and I think,
Yeah.
Get rid of that one.
Can't go through all
I've got
that.
an awful lot of unread emails in
me
my
too.
inbox that I need to...
Oh, do you?
But how much of that is just like press releases, Kevin? Like,
Well,
do you get
a lot of them is like
mailing
that.
list stuff?
You look at the subject line and you're like, that's not interesting.
Yeah.
But yeah.
But why don't you
I
get
should
rid of
delete
it?
them, exactly.
Yeah.
I don't. I just...
Oh, you see, I do.
They
I've known people, I don't know if you... I bet you're like this, Ms. Diamond, where you look at their phone and it says on their email thing, it says something like 15,000 unread emails.
I'll bet
and
you.
I have
God.
zero.
I'll bet you I'm one. 3,879 unread.
I couldn't bear that.
I'm like that on my
It's
personal
too
email.
big a job to go
God.
through them and delete them now.
What?
Oh, come on,
embarrassed
Kevin.
to tell you. 27,688.
No.
The day
The thing is, now it's got so big, it would take so long to delete them.
Here's the idea that if you're ever going to email Kevin Schofield, don't bother. Just don't bother.
point.
Well, if it's important, I'll read it. Don't worry.
No point. He's got 30,000 emails.
Can't you just select all unread and then just get rid of the lot?
Yeah, that's probably
what I'm going to have to do.
Probably a good
as well.
idea.
Yeah,
You
I
probably
do.
think you're going to go back to them at some point, don't
Yes, you
Kevin?
do.
You always think, just in case, there might be one there
There
that
might be one really
it's
important.
important.
But you're never going to go back to them.
No.
Oh, that's
You know what I mean?
that's terrible.
It is.
I know,
That's-
I know.
that's
That is
terrible.
Shameful. It is shameful.
Now, what's this in the Times, Kevin, about around the world in 430 days?
This is a great story. So this fella called Geordie Stewart, he went round the world on his bike. It was a record-breaking 22,500 mile cycle round the world, and he got back to London and he went for a pint and he left his bike outside the pub. Shouldn't laugh, and someone stole it.
No.
So this, he's been held at knife point in Italy, got taken into custody in China, endured ridiculous temperatures with this bike that he got for a few £100s on eBay. You know, saw him through thick and thin, even gave it a nickname, and he got back to London and it got stolen.
Within minutes.
Yeah, and it's gone.
That is terrible.
And he says, no, it's not like worth anything financially, it's the sentimentality. Obviously, he took it around the world, so obviously it means a lot to him. And he tied it up. It's not just like he just left it, but there was CCTV across the street that he's seen on a neighbour's house, and somebody just came along, cut it, and
Ah.
away with it. It's a bit of an epidemic in London, I believe, of bike bike
In lots of
thefts.
places, yes. I used to live in Oxford, and there it's not worth having a nice bike because it gets pinched all the time.
And also, you don't find it again. I mean,
you never do.
No.
You can give the police all sorts of things about, like, I literally have seen, friends' bikes that are stolen on someone's selling website, and the police don't do anything about it. They don't turn up or anything.
You're joking.
So
It's all proof, isn't it?
Yeah.
How do you prove any of it? I don't know. Oh, there you go. Well, that was a depressing...
Sorry about that.
Kevin.
Sorry about that.
We should go back to Doctor Who, I think, to cheer ourselves up. There you go. Thank you both very much indeed. We'll see you a little bit later on.
Yeah.
Look forward to
Got
that.
a few minutes to go and delete your messages now.
Oh, yeah, if you can do that by the next hour.
Jeez, I don't think there's enough time, is there?
Go on, get on with it. Let's have a look at the weather for you this morning.